Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
Nighttime on Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The sea explodes in an otherworldly spectacle. This is coral spawning. One of the world's greatest natural wonders is made up of billions of living creatures that reproduce like this each year. And this season has scientists excited.
We were out diving until about 11 o'clock last night looking at the coral spawning, and we were lucky enough to see some of the species spawning. Not all of them, but we saw the soft corals, and they filled up the water with bundles of eggs and sperm, which was really spectacular.
The spectacular sight is a type of synchronized breeding. Coral polyps release millions of sperm and egg bundles into the water all at once. When two bundles from the same species collide, new life is born. It's a display of nature's resilience, repeated around this time of year across the Great Barrier Reef's nearly 133,000 square miles. But while some parts of the reef remain healthy, other parts are bleaching and dying, killed by temperature rise due to global warming.
They're a little bit like Goldilocks. They need the temperature and other conditions to be just right. And if they go outside of those boundaries, then we have this phenomenon called coral bleaching.
Scientists in Australia are studying ways to boost the chances for successful reproduction. Right now, it is nature that holds the key to the reef's survival.
This process of sexual reproduction, which is what's going on, is also one of the ways in which you get natural adaptation to changing conditions. Now, one of the big challenges with climate change is it's happening so fast that it may mean that the genetic variability isn't able to keep up with it. But nonetheless, it's really important that the process is happening.
The coral spawning at Moore Reef near the city of Cairns gives hope that this wonder of the world might still be rescued. The speed at which we transition to green energy and the degree to which our planet warms will determine how much of the Great Barrier Reef can be saved.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like, and share now. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
A dire rise in congenital syphilis. The U.S. saw a 30-year high in the number of reported cases in babies in 2022, according to new numbers from the CDC.
Congenital syphilis is caused when a mother suffering from syphilis passes the infection on to her growing baby.
More than 3,700 babies were born with syphilis in the U.S. in 2022. That's a 32% increase from the year before and a tenfold rise since 2012. This infection can cause miscarriage, stillbirth, premature birth, low birth weight, even death shortly after birth. But congenital syphilis can be prevented, says Dr. Asma Chadha with Mayo Clinic.
Knowing a woman has syphilis is the first step towards treatment. It is an easily treated infection, but universal screening is essential.
Chadha says a simple blood test can screen for syphilis. It should be done early at the first prenatal doctor's visit, and some women should be tested twice.
In high-risk populations, we should probably be rescreening pregnant women again in the 3rd trimester to make sure that the infection didn't occur later in pregnancy.
Some public health leaders believe budget cuts to state health departments and a shortage of the only drug approved to treat syphilis in pregnancy are undercutting the effort to curb the rising cases.
It's very important that regardless of their ability to be able to afford prenatal care or not, all women and their children, particularly the ones who are pregnant, are receiving universal access.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Like the Advocate Channel on Facebook for the best way to get updates on stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
A few miles from the front lines, soldiers relax, enjoy free food, and the support of their country.
It's like everybody are in war, okay? The people of Israel are in war. Everybody wants and needs to contribute.
An army vet turned restaurateur, Rel Nadal stepped up immediately cooking burgers.
In the second day of war with 1,000 burgers, right now we deliver around 20,000.
And the soldiers, they just show up here and they...
Yes, it's people coming from all over the area.
It feels relaxed, and anywhere else it might be. But so close to war, it's therapy, and not just for the troops.
To continue to make us a good place to live here.
It's Dudi Shrem's first day volunteering, chopping onions for burgers. His only child, Liam, 28 years old, murdered by Hamas at the music festival.
They wait them and they start to shoot. Nobody stay in the car, 3 people. 3 good friends.
And it's not just food that volunteers are stepping up to help out with all across the country. People are doing what they can to support the soldiers and the civilians. So you're building resiliency here.
You build resiliency, you make sure that our mutual responsibility is in its best.
Ronnie Flammer has thousands of volunteers working for him. This is the heart of the operation.
This is the art of the operation. So it's starting to be hard, and that's why we need to, every day, to rebuild the spirit.
In this room, one of dozens like it across the country, volunteers working 18-hour shifts, rescuing families from front lines, finding them places to live.
It helps me keep busy, so the head doesn't get stuck on the war and all the atrocities that happened and keep happening.
Like everyone here, Sean Ettinger, a 21-year-old student, sees the suffering on the other side too.
I do want for it to end, completely.
You're a hero considered statistic.
Flammer, a third-generation Holocaust survivor, fought in the last incursion, wants to build back stronger.
We seek for peace. So the only thing that we know how to do is to help. It's to rebuild. We are going to bring 1 million people to live on the Gaza border.
For Dudi Shrem, who lost his son Liam, that building back has only just begun.
My son, he liked very much the life. That's what he asked from us. And tell us, continue the life, good life. And we live for him.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay updated on stories that matter every day. Here's our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
Washington, D.C. is once again facing a possible financial collapse.
We certainly want to avoid a government shutdown. It's a dangerous time around the world right now. We recognize that, and we're doing our job.
Speaker Mike Johnson and GOP lawmakers in the House went through a series of ideas Tuesday, including a short-term spending bill through January 19th.
Many options that are on the table, and we'll be revealing what our plan is in short order.
If some Republicans in the House are against any sort of short-term spending bill, Johnson would need Democratic support, and that might be an uphill climb.
They want to default on our debt, shut down the government, crash the economy, censure Democrats, and avoid holding their own members accountable. This is who they are.
A government shutdown occurs when Congress doesn't pass funding for the federal government without something like a short-term bill. That could cause many problems for the country, including the halting of construction projects and disruptions in food safety inspections. Johnson has until November 17th to deal with his conference, the Democratic-controlled Senate, and the Biden White House.
Bipartisanship is the word. Just one side passing a bill just with one party and sending it over is not going to be a very good way to move things forward.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Thanks for watching the Advocate channel's top stories. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow, like, and share, or check out advocatechannel.com for even more stories that advocate for you.